is stated that all men are created equal. One has to wonder, how? We aren't all born with the same skills or abilities, and we certainly aren't all born with the same economic status. The answer to this question is through our rights. Regardless of who we are and where we come from, we are all born with the same undeniable, indisputable rights. Rights are things that people fight for, die for, and too often take for granted. But what exactly is a right? Let's find out. Meet Crispy Jones, your not-so-average informed 18-year-old citizen of these United States. Come here. A little closer. A little closer. A little closer. Okay, that's too close, Get there. Okay. I wanted to ask you a question. Do you know what a right is? Can you tell me someone that knows what a right is? Guess not. Do you want to take a guess, son?
Is it something you're born with?
Right on the nose. A right is the capability to act without needing the permission of another. It is universal and applies to everyone everywhere. It is absolute.
Oh shucks, I didn't know all that. I'm glad to have such a privilege.
Whoa, Crispy, not so fast. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
What did I say wrong?
Now, son, there's a big difference between a right and a privilege. Let me explain. Unlike a right, a privilege is something that the government can give. If you prove yourself irresponsible by doing something like speeding, then this privilege can be taken away. You can't, however, take away a right. For example, one has the right to vote for whomever they please.
Yes, but my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Now tell me, Crispy, do you know what the Bill of Rights are? Well, let me explain. The Bill of Rights, ratified in 1791, lays out what rights should be protected by the government. Within the United States, the freedom to worship is also an important one. The United States does not recognize any religion as being the country's official one. People are free to worship whatever religion they please, granted that it doesn't impact anybody else's rights. That said, there is a wall of separation between the church and state, as established by the First Amendment. Where exactly this line is, though, is not quite clear. Cases like Everson v. Board of Education firmly uphold the Establishment Clause. It states that Congress shall not make any law respecting the establishment of religion. What has begun as a result is the disentangling of the church from our public schools. Another right you have is the right to a speedy trial. If and when you commit a crime, you deserve the ability to have a court date within 6 months. You also deserve to have a trial by the jury of your peers, who ultimately have charge over your fate.
He's guilty!
Sweet deal!
Finally, the First Amendment also establishes freedom of the press, the right to print whatever story a newspaper pleases to, granted the story is no fooling whatsoever, the story is not based off some crazy line. In Lovell v. City of Griffin, the press was defined as every sort of publication which reports a vehicle of information and opinion. This allows people to express their opinions without feeling threatened by punishment from government backlash. Crispy, where are you going? Wait, am I boring you? Crispy, your shoes aren't tied.
Don't worry, I'm exercising my right to choose not to tie them.
Young people these days, they're hard heads to make soft bottoms, and that's why the future is a scary place. Versus their ignorance, the next thing you know, we'll have an African American president. I can see it now.
Make sure this law works as it's supposed to. Because in the United States of America, health insurance isn't a privilege, it's your right. And we're going to keep it that way.
All in all, rights are something that nobody can give. A right isn't an entitlement like Social Security, which needs to be deserved. A right isn't a good or service which can be bought or sold for a price. A right is free. Rights cannot be given, and like a privilege, it isn't something that can be taken away. All in all, it is the job of the people as the ones who give the government power to make sure that their rights are protected for now and for future generations to come.